at the Sterling Heights Public Library. My name is Brent, and today we have a salute to all you deer hunters out there. We're doing venison. So this is a venison backstrap. This is the whole thing as it came off the animal. I've got a tenderloin in here to compare. Now this has been partially trimmed already, so if you remember the beef tenderloin episode, the process is very similar for cleaning up the tenderloin. The backstrap, very similar in a lot of ways. Now this is from the back of the animal, hence backstrap, runs along both sides of the backbone on the outside of the body cavity, whereas the tenderloin is from the inside of the body cavity. This is much smaller. Very, very prime piece of meat. So you're going to see on the outside of this, there's this silver skin. Now this is the underside of it here. And there's not really a tremendous amount of trimming to do on this, but we are going to get this silver skin off of here. And just to review a little bit on how we do that, I've got a boning knife here. You can use a fillet knife or a really sharp paring knife, but you need something with a long, thin blade with a good point on it, something that you can get very sharp. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the point of that. We're going to pop that right through and under that silver skin. Push it right through. And then I'm going to slide that right along just the underside of that silver skin. Peel it off like this. We'll take that off in strips. Now, this is basically the same piece of meat that you would get on a cow that you would get your sirloin, your New York sirloin strip off of. And that has some real similarities as far as the anatomy goes, but one difference with venison is there is not as much fat on a deer, and that's a good thing, because if you've ever tried venison fat, it is not delicious. It has a kind of a waxy texture and a very strong flavor. So to finish this up, I'm just going to take these last few little bits off of here. I'll show you here in a moment what you should probably be expecting for yield on this. This does take a little practice, so take your time. Don't waste meat. So I have trimmed up both back straps. So this is what they look like here. I got this much silver skin off of it and just a little bit of trim meat. Do not throw this out. This here, you can chop it up and put it with your dog food. They love it. So you're going to notice that not only is this very lean, it is also a darker red than beef. And it's a little bit denser, and it's got a little bit different flavor to it. It's definitely got a stronger, not necessarily gamey, but it's definitely got a little bit more pronounced flavor to it. Keep that in mind that when you've got something that's real lean like this here, you do not want to overcook this piece of meat. This here is fabulous at about a medium to a medium rare. So to portion this, we're going to get this cut up into pieces that are about 4 or 5 inches long approximately. So about like there, and then to keep them consistent, this is a little trick you can use. You just kind of use the previous one to mark your size on that. Now, what we're going to do with these today is I'm going to cut these into a little bit smaller pieces, and then each one of these pieces I'm going to wrap with a strip of bacon. These are going to be really good. So to prep these, we're going to go ahead and take a moment and just season them up a little bit. And I like to use Lowry's. You can use whatever you want. A little salt and pepper at the very least. So now to wrap these, we've got some thick cut bacon here, and I have let this come up to room temperature. Why? Because warmer bacon stretches. And I've got a couple of options here. I've got some long pieces of scallion and some jalapenos here that are thinly sliced. So you can use toothpicks to secure these, but I've got a solution here that works pretty well. So if we start here about halfway and hold it and wrap that around, cross over the end, bring it all the way back up, and then tuck loose end underneath where you crossed over, that should hold itself pretty good when you go to cook it. Now, when we go to sear this in the pan, we're going to make sure that where this joint is goes down first. You can see that that's wrapped around there like that. So let's try one with, so we grab a piece of bacon here. We're going to stretch that out a little bit. And then I'm going to take a few pieces of thinly sliced jalapeno and just kind of set it right on there. And a couple of these long bits of scallion. Again, we're going to start the bacon halfway, bring it around, across, and back up. And then I'm going to tuck that loose end under that crossing piece where the other end is. And then when I sear that, I'm going to sear that side down. So I'm going to use a skillet. I'm using cast iron. You can use whatever you've got. And we've got this preheating on the over a medium burner for a couple minutes. Give it a light spray. The bacon is going to definitely render some fat out, but we don't want to just rely on that specifically. And again, remember, we're putting the seam side down first. We want to sear that and set that. And we're not trying to do this in blazing hot pan. We don't want to burn it. We're going to do this for a couple minutes on each side, and there's 4 sides on these. So this is what they're going to look like. You want them to make sure that you've got some nice browning on the bacon here. You don't want anything burned or scorched, and you don't want to overcook these. A little bit of red juice coming out of there is not a problem. So we're going to set these aside and let them rest for a little bit. So when you're resting meat, cover it. I'm using a lid here. You can use a little plastic wrap or some foil. There's one of those pieces right there. Let's go ahead and pop that out of there. We're going to go ahead and slice that, and I'll show you the inside. So that's what we're looking at right there. We got a nice medium on that. Now, if you don't like your meat pink, you can take it a little bit further than this, but I implore you, do not overcook this piece of meat. It is very nice stuff. It is also very lean. If you overcook it, you will dry it out. On the off chance that you possibly have a little bit of this left over, makes fabulous sandwiches the next day. Don't count on leftovers. There aren't usually very many. Go ahead and serve this with your favorite sides. Give it a shot. If you don't have access to wild game, some of this stuff is available commercially that's farm raised. But venison backstraps with bacon, one of my favorite meals ever. Enjoy.